today we're taking a look at TOPAZ GIGAPIXEL AI. There's a new update. This is version 6.1 with significant improvements to face recovery when upscaling photos with GIGAPIXEL AI. We're going to take a look at that today. Stay tuned. Hello everyone and welcome to the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly. Well, TOPAZ have done it again. There's another update, and this is a really good update because they've really worked on their face recovery and it is really improved, and I'm going to show that to you today. Also, I'm providing a link so you could read up on this new update. This is information from TOPAZ. There's a lot of good information here concerning this update and how TOPAZ GIGAPIXEL AI works and so on. And you're going to want to read this, and especially about the face recovery, because there's some things that you really need to know about here. And I highly recommend that everybody takes a little bit of time, it's not long, and reads over this information. Before I dive into GIGAPIXEL AI, I wanted to read something very important to you. Recommendations for using face recovery. When you look back at all the photo examples I shared in this article, do you see anything that they have in common? Each of them is a low-resolution photo of a person or people whose face is relatively small within the overall composition. Just look at the size of the white focus box in the navigator view, top right of the UI, for each photo above. Also, some of the faces suffer from excess noise or other quality degradations due to the low resolution. When upscaling a high resolution or high quality photo with a face that takes up a majority of the frame, we recommend disabling face refinement and select the most appropriate base super resolution model to increase the pixel size. Now that's a very important factor there. My interpretation of that would be if you have an image where it's a portrait, it's all about the face, and it's a high quality image, high res, do not use the face recovery. It's not going to give you any improvement. In fact, it'll probably make it look worse. And now for the first look. This is not a deep dive into TOPAZ GIGAPIXEL AI. I just want to look at the face recovery today because I think that's the most important part of this update. I'll be working on this stock image today, and it is a really low res file. As you can see, 640 pixels by 959, which is roughly a 2 by 3 inch image at a resolution of 300 pixels per inch. It's a low-res file and the face doesn't take up much of the image, so this is a great candidate to try on the new face recovery in GIGAPIXEL. Now I'm working out of Photoshop. You can use GIGAPIXEL as a standalone application, or you could use it out of Lightroom, but I generally work out of Photoshop because that's where I do most of my editing. And to launch it from Photoshop, normally you would come up to Filter and launch any filters. Like this is where I would launch Denoise or Sharpen AI. But to launch GIGAPIXEL, you have to come over to File, in case you didn't know this, and come down to Automate, and you're going to find it in here. So I'm going to go ahead and click on TOPAZ GIGAPIXEL AI. We'll launch it, and we will get started. Now here we are inside of TOPAZ GIGAPIXEL AI. Now we have all these different models here, and I've tried the different models and I found out that the standard model looks the best. And of course we have different views. Up here we have the comparison view. If you don't know which model to use, you can use the comparison view to compare different models. I'm not getting into that today because, like I said, I just want to look at the face recovery because that's quite frankly the star of this update. Right now I'm zoomed into 400%, and if you look at the navigator up here, you can see I'm just zoomed into this little area right up in here, 400%, and I'm upsizing this 6 times, and as you can see, this image is a 640 by 959 pixel, and then with the upscale it's now a 3840 by 5754, which is a significant upsize. And by the way, this is a JPEG image. A little tip for you, if you left click with your mouse, see I have this hand tool here, if I left click and hold down with my mouse, we can see here's the before, but look at all that pixelation. So this is a very low resolution image, but check it out after GIGAPIXEL upsizes it. Pretty good. Now we don't have the face recovery on yet, and I want you to notice a few areas. Notice the eyebrows up here and the eyelashes. We don't see any, and there's like a little area on the nose right here, and there's some weird anomaly on the teeth, and the lips look not very good. But this is how the image looks without face recovery. Now remember, the face takes up a small portion of the overall image, so this meets that criteria that GIGAPIXEL are saying works well for face recovery. Okay, so now let's turn face recovery on. So there, you'll find it in this additional settings area. And if you're not seeing face recovery, that's because this is not opened up. Just click on this triangle right here and you'll see it. There's face recovery and reduce color bleed. Okay, so face recovery, I'm going to go ahead and turn it on. Now take a look at the difference. Here's before and here is after. Notice how the eyebrow has gotten a lot better. It looks more like an eyebrow. We can even start to see some eyelashes here. Okay, and remember the nose right here? Take a look at this nose area right here. I'm going to shut off face recovery. You see how it looks a little funky in here? You can see like a line in here. And now I'll turn it back on and take a look at the difference. See how nice and smooth and real it looks? And this area in the teeth down in here looks really good now. So I'll shut the face recovery off. Here's the before. You see like right in here. And check the lips out too. They look funky. And now when I turn the face recovery back on, they look really natural. So I'm really impressed with this. I think it's good. Now, Topaz do recommend that you start out with your face recovery up full. And then if it looks not quite right, you can start dragging this back and trying it at different levels till you get the area that you like. But I find for the most part on a low res image, you're probably going to want to leave it up full, but you can experiment with that. But again, here is the overall before, and you can see it's very pixelated, and here's the after. So it's doing a really great job. There's one other improvement that's really significant, and that's with these teeth right here. I'm going to shut face recovery off. Look how this tooth looks weird. It's like bigger and it's pushing over that way. Now watch what happens to that tooth when I click on face recovery. Pretty amazing. Now it looks like a natural looking tooth. So hats off to you, Topaz. You've done a really good job with this face recovery. I'm sure we're all going to find little things that it doesn't work quite right on, but that's to be expected with anything that is AI. But the positives of Gigapixel AI really outweigh its negatives. I'm going to go ahead and zoom back out and fit this to screen, zoom to fit. And there you can see it right there. It's not a bad idea with any kind of AI product to do a lot of pixel peeping. In other words, zoom in to your image and really move around and make sure there's no kind of weird artifacting going on. Because different AI models will react differently, because like you may try very compressed and it might make some weird artifact come onto the image, but you may find if you go over to low resolution that disappears, because each one of these models handle the image differently. So you got to pick the right model, and that's where the comparison view really comes in when you're trying to find your model. By the way, if you have a current license for Gigapixel AI, you can go ahead and get this as a free update. If you don't, you can renew that license and use my promo code David Kelly and save 15% off the license renewal, or you can use that same David Kelly promo code and save 15% off any Topaz software, including bundled software. So I'm done at this point. To get this back into Photoshop, all I have to do is click apply. And by the way, I used auto settings here today, and they generally work well for me. If you have noise that you're seeing in there, you can give it a little extra noise suppression, or if you want it a little sharper, you can adjust the remove blur to the right to make it sharper. If you want less sharpening, move it to the left. But for now, I'm just going to click apply. And I'll leave this in real time, and you'll see how long it takes. It's pretty quick to get us back into Photoshop. And as you can see, there we are upsized. So this image started out, and I'll show you here in my history, it started out looking like this, and now it looks like this. And let me go ahead and fit this to screen so you can see it's a lot bigger. Well, it really did a great job. Let me go ahead and zoom in so we can really see it here. But look how great that face looks. And now we have a much larger file size. In fact, if I come up here to image and come to image size, give that a click, we can see now it is a 3840 by 5754, equivalent to a 12 by 19 inch print. Pretty amazing from that little tiny 2x3 image to start with. Well, there it is, everyone. Topaz Gigapixel AI, a new update, version 6.1 with the new face recovery update. It's really good. You want to give it a try. You can also download a free trial of any of the Topaz software. And don't forget to use my promo code David Kelly to save 15% off any Topaz software plus license updates. Well, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And if you're not yet a subscriber to my channel, please subscribe and click that bell notification icon. Then every time I upload a new tutorial, you'll be notified about it. Well, I want to thank each and every one of you for joining me today in the Joy of Editing with Dave Kelly, and I'll see you all right here next time. But until then, happy editing.